Rewind, the show where a couple of friends watch movies of old and aim to figure out if the reviewers were spot on or a little off. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tristan.
And this week, we're talking about 12 Angry Men.
Nice.
I honestly didn't know how to handle that because, like, there's music in this, but it's also very limited. There's not a lot of music in it.
Mm-mm.
But when there is music, feels like they're polar opposites as far as what the tension or what they're trying to build.
Yeah, I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but it felt like the music was meant to be like, this is the end of one act, and we're entering into another act. But the whole movie, except for like the beginning and the end, could have gone without music, and it would have been totally fine.
Yeah, Talking Pictures had been around for like 20 years already. They should have had a gauge on it, man. Oh. I got kernels stuck in my mouth. This is such a bad idea.
Somebody had popcorn.
Yeah. So I'm being slowly killed by the thing that I ate. How about yourself?
Well, aren't we all slowly being killed by the things that we eat? You think about it?
I don't think that's true.
Only if you eat things that you're allergic to.
Consistently, like on purpose. Yeah, then that is 100%
just
right.
Little by little.
Just little by little.
Yeah, it's like you can either be like Wesley from The Princess Bride and gain an immunity to it, or you just slowly kill yourself.
You know, and
that's how poison works.
Both are good choices.
Yeah, this is a weird conversation. I'm doing well, Mike. Thanks for asking.
You're not dying. Well, we all. Oh no.
Yeah. We circled back around to it.
Gosh darn it!
I wore my my prison stripes
in honor of the film.
In honor.
That's now we're going back to Inception. That is good. Yeah. You know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Directed by Sidney Lumet. Or Lumet. Is that an important person? I know I sound like an idiot.
This was, I believe, his directorial debut for film.
What? Excuse me? Hold on. I think I saw this. I think I had a stroke. Hold on. Did I? What the F?
What's going on there?
So, 12 Angry Men. And then we go through lots of movies and TV shows in the 60s. And then we get to... Oh, no, that can't be right. Oh, it's a different... You know, in the 60s and 70s, they sure as...
Child's Play and get confused?
They sure as hell named all these movies the same. But he directed Serpico, which was our old friend Al Pacino. One of his older... What did he...
Oh, yeah.
An honest New York cop named Frank Serpico blows the whistle on rampant corruption and in the force, only to have his comrades turn against him.
Oh no! He did Murder on the Orient Express from 74.
This was the one that got me. That I wasn't. Maybe it's worse than Child's Play or better. I don't know. The Wiz.
Wait. The Wiz?
The Wizard of Oz with Michael Jackson? Yeah. He directed that. What? Diana Ross, Nipsey Russell, Michael Jackson, Ted Ross.
Death
What?
Trap with Michael Caine
Michael Caine.
and Christopher Reeve. Superman.
Thank you. I really blanked there for a second. I was like, I know who that is. Don't I? Anyway, what an interesting.
Yeah, thank you for coming along with us as we look at directors IMDb and don't talk about what we're seeing.
Produced by Henry Fonda and Reginald Rose, who was the screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Distributed by Criterion Collection, United Artists, MGM. I think some of these are later. I think
feel
some
like
of these are like
Collection is a newer thing.
I think it's just MGM.
Yeah.
And the production company was Orion-Nova Pictures. I believe that. That might be right. I'll tell you what. Some of this info, not available. The info that we have established as our standard gauge for films, not quite available. It is a drama, English, released April 20th, 1957. This is the oldest film that we have watched on this show. This is the first time that our intro is actually accurate. This is a movie of old.
A movie of old, yeah. Older than the 90s. Or I guess we had 80s. Some We've 80s. Gone back to the 80s.
I was like, we went past it, but technically Shining was 1980. It was cusping.
Yeah.
It was on the cusp of the 70s. It had a budget of $335,000, which I don't know if that's inflationary price. Or,
that seems like a lot.
That's what I was saying. That seems like a lot. Maybe the producers just couldn't get a good deal on a set. Considering that it's legitimately 3 areas. You have the jury room, the courtroom, the bathroom, and then outside the courtroom or the courthouse. Was that Universal Pictures?
There's the establishing shot of like coming into the courthouse and like you see the stairs and the hallway and everything.
That's what cost them all the money.
That's what cost them all the money.
You're right.
I don't know.
You're right.
They filmed those scenes in New York, so I don't know.
Oh, hey, even in the 50s, it was New York.
It was New York. Uncertain box office, but I did read something that said that they didn't make their money back, and so Henry Fonda never got his pay.
Particularly at that time, legitimately one of the biggest stars didn't get paid.
Yeah,
that's wild.
He where was it? Because the film failed to make profit, Henry Fonda never received his deferred salary.
That's wild.
But he still regards it as one of the 3 best movies he's ever made.
And the other 2 were pornos. I said that so fast. I don't feel like I gave myself enough time to really like.
You got there too quick. The other 2 were The Grapes of Wrath and The Oxbow Incident.
His grapes in the bath.
No.
I got nothing for the next one. What?
Oxbow Incident. It's
I'm sure drama Western.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, I think this is also the first time we've watched like a legitimate drama. I think I would regard the movie we just watched before this, Heat, as a drama, but I think it's a little bit crime, a little bit mystery. Like there's some subcategories added to it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call it an action film, but there's something about having gunfight action for such a, like, that scene was really long for such an extended point to where, like, it's not just a straight drama. This is normal people drama.
It's drama.
You know?
Straight up.
Straight up. Even though there is a murder, technically. All right. This is starring. I put these gentlemen in juror order, and I actually added something to it to make us either feel really good about ourselves or really bad about ourselves. So if you on your side, Tristan, want to pull up pictures of them as I'm saying this, so you can see what we're saying. But did I say already that I added their age? No. Okay.
You hadn't revealed that yet, but
okay. I apparently blanked. So I added their age, and again, I don't know how I feel. Either I feel like I've aged wonderfully or terribly. I can't figure it out yet. So Martin Balsam was juror number 1, and he was the foreman.
The foreman, yeah.
38 years old. Which is a year older than me. John Fieldler, juror number 2. He was the smaller man with the glasses that had the really high-pitched voice.
The Piglet voice.
Son of a gun, do you think he's Piglet? Is he Piglet? You said that, and now I did not look into it. Is he Piglet?
I'll check. I thought about it last night, but oh yeah.
Is he Piglet?
Buddy. This guy.
Son of a gun.
Why are we not? Yep, that's Piglet.
What apps, like, how to notice that? That was so good. How apt of you. That was great. Because as soon as you said it, my brain went, yeah, that is him. That's 100% Piglet. So Piglet, juror number 2, at the time, was 32 years old. Lee J. Cobb, who is the angriest of the angry men.
Oh, yeah.
Juror number 3, 46 years old. E.G. Marshall, juror number 4, which I believe he was the other gentleman with the glasses.
He was the
one that didn't sweat.
Just the facts.
Yes. He was 43. Jack Klugman, who also was in the TV version of The Odd Couple. I grew up on Nick at Night, and I used to watch The Odd Couple all the time. So when I saw him, I was like, yeah. Juror 5, at the time, he was 35 years old. And he might be the only person, in my opinion, that genuinely looked his age, like 35. As far as the people in their 30s go.
Man, it's real weird to look at these guys and be like, oh, yeah, I would be there in that room with them.
Edward Binns, juror number 6, this one was interesting. He was the taller guy who, when juror number 4 kept mouthing off, he was like, if you're mean to the old man again, I'm going to bop you. Like, I'm going to hit you. 41. He's one of the few of the group that looked a little younger than his age. Jack Warden, juror number 7, was 37 at the time. So my age exactly, which debatable if I look or sound or feel younger or older than he is in that time. This one caught me off guard big time. Henry Fonda, juror number 8, 52.
52.
In his 50s. I got to see.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, so 52. I thought he was much younger, like early 40s at that time. There were some shots that did kind of show his age a little more, but it felt like they filmed him in a way that he looked a bit younger. The oldest gentleman, Joseph Sweeney, juror number 9, was 73.
Didn't get there fast enough. I was going to be like 25.
Yeah. Ed Begley, the senior, yes. Juror number 10 looked much older than his age, was only 4 years older than Henry Fonda at 56.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was in his late 60s.
Yeah. He looks like a grumpy old 60-year-old man.
Like on his way to his 70s. But no, still got a ways to go. George Voskovec, juror number 11, 52. Also one that looked appropriate for his age. And then Robert Webbit. You Webbit. Robert Weber, juror 12, the guy with the super thick frame glasses, 32. So one of the joint 32-year-olds. These guys, range of age, but honestly, looking at some of the photos to imagine how old some of them are is kind of wild. Piglet is the one that got me. Like, I feel like if he wore a hat or something, maybe it'd be like, oh yeah, you're not terribly old. But nah.
No, but that's, I mean, it was a different world where we're smoking and
well, that was the thing.
And day drinking was.
I did have that in my mind of when they were pulling out cigarettes. Those weren't fake cigarettes. They were just smoking. And that is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, I'm going to speak to my 90s upbringing. But one, Jack Warden is in a bunch of movies that I thoroughly enjoyed. His last movie that he did was The Replacements, that Keanu Reeves guilty pleasure I have.
Oh, yeah.
So when I saw him, I was like, that's a young version of him? Holy crap. He was in Ed, the Matthew McConaughey baseball movie where there's a monkey.
Yeah.
He was in Problem Child. Do you remember Problem Child with John Ritter?
No.
Oh, man. I loved that movie. It's such a dumb movie, but I loved it. There were 3 of them, but I loved it because I was a genuinely big fan of John Ritter. I thought he was such a funny comedian, and that movie is there. He was also in Toys. Remember the Robin Williams movie, Toys? He was in one, let's see. He was in a bunch of stuff. Not really like, I think he would be considered like a character actor, where he has a very, it's funny because as he got older, he still played like a kind of a sarcastic, jokey character, but just the old version of that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Speaking of Poirot from earlier, He was in the 1978 Death on the Nile. Which, there you go. Wild that they got him to do that.
I just got distracted by maybe my brain knew this at one point, but The Fugitive. There was the movie with Harrison Ford. Apparently, a remake, and at least this version was a TV series from the 60s.
I somehow think I knew that.
I don't think I knew that it was a show.
There's a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s that were just shows from the 60s. Yeah. Well, that's a great place to transition us into a segment we like to call the Recap Rewind, where one of us rewinds to recap the story for you. And this week, Tristan, are you angry, buddy?
Oh, I'm angry.
So we're at a bit of a stalemate. One of us says guilty. One of us says non-guilty. Why don't you go ahead and give me why you think what you think?
Okay. Much like this movie, my recap is very short.
My mic was muted, but I laughed.
12 Angry Men takes us back to a simpler time when juries were precisely as they should be, composed of middle-aged white men unburdened by their toxic masculinity, allowing them to express their biases and prejudices freely. That was sarcasm.
Oh, okay. Wow.
This movie follows 12 jurors during a 1.5-hour deliberation on whether an 18-year-old boy should be found guilty of murdering his father. The judge reminds them that the weight of their verdict could lead to the boy being executed if found guilty, but if there is reasonable doubt in anyone's mind, he should find them not guilty. The verdict needs to be unanimous. As the men are excused to deliberate, they enter a small room on the hottest day of the year with a fan that doesn't work. They settle in and decide to take a preliminary vote. 11 guilty, 1 not guilty. Juror number 8, played by Henry Fonda, is uncertain about the defendant's guilt. The foreman decides to go around the table and have everyone explain their vote. Little by little, each man's prejudice, experience, and subjectivity is revealed, with some believing that a boy from the slums is bound for violence, and others just want to get to a ball game that they have tickets to. As juror number 8 explains his uncertainty and requests to re-examine the evidence more closely, the first piece of evidence discussed is a switchblade knife that the boy purchased the night of the murder. The testimony indicated that this knife was rare and that no one had seen anything like it. Yet, juror number 8 managed to find an exact replica, raising reasonable doubt about whether only that boy could have purchased that knife. As the evidence and facts are rehashed, more jurors slowly begin to experience reasonable doubt, and their votes change to not guilty. The most heated jurors, who held the strongest opinions of guilt, slowly begin to question their verdict as the temperature and temperament in the room rises, and a rainstorm starts outside. Each man must confront his own subjectivity with objective scrutiny of the facts and evidence. You would never think that an hour and a half of watching 12 men argue in a single room could be so engaging. But this story critiques and analyzes the true rights and responsibilities of a trial by jury and what it means for a jury to send a boy to his death with good conscience.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. You know, God dang it.
What?
Do you remember who Juror, because you mentioned the baseball game,
Mm-hmm.
that Juror number 7, who the Yankees were playing?
I don't.
I don't either. But I checked it just for fun because I couldn't gauge what day they were actually in the juror box. So I
Mm-hmm.
looked up the day the movie came out, and by gum, the Yankees played.
It would have been uh, June or July, I think, because if it's the hottest day of, well, I guess the hottest day of the year is not necessarily a set time, but I think usually it lands in that time period.
It was the 50s. They didn't know what weather was.
Yeah,
That was
it's the hottest
that's
day,
not
and
true.
it's waning.
It's waning, guys. So what'd you think?
I think this might be one of the best movies that we've watched so far.
Okay. Woo! I was a little nervous because like all older movies, I think a vast majority of older movies, slow start.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a slow start.
Mm-hmm.
But once the story really gets going with Henry Fonda starting to, show his doubt
Mm-hmm.
a bit, it really builds well.
Yeah.
Like every step builds really well. And then every time one person changes their vote, you're just like, all right, the train's moving. Let's keep going. Let's see what happens. And all the way until the end, it's just like, wow, this is going. This is good. I want to know how this goes.
Yeah.
And it just ends. Everyone kind of going their own way. No one really, I mean, 2 of them gave their last name to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, they just make their way. Life
Mm-hmm.
goes. And that's how it ends. And somehow that was such a satisfying ending.
Mm-hmm.
To go from Heat, where it really made you think and the acting was good and all of that stuff, but the ending wasn't necessarily like satisfying,
Mm-hmm.
to this movie that I feel did a lot of the same things,
Mm-hmm.
but was very satisfying when it ended.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your take? Like,
Yeah. No, I think you're right. They have similar, but Heat leaves you questioning,
right.
like what happened? Where this one, it feels like you are going through the process with them, even
Yeah.
though we didn't get to see the actual case. But we weren't in the courtroom, but we hear all about it, and we, as the audience, are coming to our own conclusion based off of it. And
That's a real. I didn't think about that idea, but we didn't see the case unfold.
Mhm.
But I feel as though everyone could say they understood the case.
Yeah,
By the end
because
of
they
the
did
movie.
a great job of explaining. Like one person would be like, "Well, this is what got brought up," and then somebody else said, "Oh, well, this person said this." So we heard the testimonies through this other way, and we heard saw the evidence or heard what the evidence was, and so it was done in a really
Which, like,
yeah
kudos to them, because what a great storytelling tool.
hmm
You have this event that has occurred, not just the murder, but the entire trial. So this is, well, I didn't look it up, so I can't really tell. Nowadays, someone gets caught for murder, a murder happens. It's going to be a few months before anything happens. This could have been weeks, honestly. Like this,
I think they said it was 3 months after the murder had happened.
Okay, there you go. I missed that. So we have essentially 3 months of, the thing happening, kid getting arrested, the court case, everything happening, and then we enter not knowing any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the film, we know all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all through these, like, I guess you could say a debate of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, oh man, it was so good.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think this is the first time that I've actually seen this movie, but it's not the first time that I've seen this, because this has been redone in other like procedural dramas and stuff, like on TV before. Like we've seen the 12 Angry Men happen over the years.
Right.
So it's familiar if you've seen those shows. Like right. I'm sure there was a Monk episode where it happened.
Yeah.
And so just imagine 12 Angry Men, but now you have a guy who is like a great detective, but really awkward. Like that's kind of what happened. But anyway, I don't know. I see why people redo it, because it is such a good storytelling or way of storytelling. And it's not just the story of the trial, but it's the storytelling through. We learn a lot about the jurors.
Yeah.
We don't know their names. We know nothing about them really, but then as they talk, we learn about their personalities, what their backgrounds are, what the things that motivate them. And that's part of why my recap was so short, is because it's like there's a lot of nuance that's hard to explain in text,
right?
Of like recapping it. And so it is one that you like. I'm going to say it right now. I would recommend that people go back and watch this one. This is the 50s one, not the one that was remade in the 90s with Jack Lemmon. But the did you not know Jack Lemmon?
I didn't know that Jack Lemmon was in it.
Yeah.
Was that a theater release?
Yeah, it's 2 hours long. It's longer than this one. I think it was a theatrical release. But I was impressed.
They actually show the murder.
Oh,
I don't know that. 1997. That's right.
I was impressed with how engaging the conversation was, how engaging most of the camera work was.
Yeah.
Like you don't anticipate when you hear, hey, it's a movie about 12 guys in a room talking. That does not sound interesting at all. But it was so dynamic.
Yeah.
And I was reading a thing that said that, and I had noticed it while watching it, but it described it in more detail of at the beginning of the movie, everything is above eye line and makes it feel very wide. And then as the movie progresses, the camera angles start getting lower and closer to make it feel more claustrophobic, and like that everything's coming in closer. Everything's more personal. Everything's more in your face. Which is really interesting.
Just so they can get that staring shot of juror number 8 or 9.
Juror number 9. Yeah.
Yeah. The really old man. He is just cracked out on something, man.
That guy, his eyes are so bugged out. I was really impressed with how long some of the shots were before they cut.
Yeah.
They would go and like one juror would give his monologue, another juror would give their monologue, a third juror would stand up and walk around, and the camera would follow them away from their seat and back to their seat as they stand up, as they sit down, before the camera even cuts. And I was so impressed with, like, I mean, I read a little bit more about this movie than some of the other movies that we watch, but apparently they spent the majority of their production time just doing rehearsals, where the director's like, you guys go sit in the room and go over your lines so that you can be more authentic with the feeling of being stuck in a room with these 12 guys. And so like they knew their lines for them. I think there's probably some cuts of like, oh, we got to retake that or get the reaction shot or whatever. But I was really impressed with how simple yet dynamic the cinematography of this was.
Yeah. You know, I think we have said that with older movies, there's like pacing issues and whatever our critique of the past is. I don't think those critiques necessarily apply to this movie, because I think some of the things that were of the time helped, I guess. The pacing is really good in the movie. And now knowing that all of them were very aware of their lines helps with the pacing immensely. That's an acting thing. Acting can absolutely help the pacing. But I think the shots did too. And the shots helped in the pacing because when the movie is starting, there is clearly a disinterest in being involved in it. Everyone's just voting guilty. They just want to get out of there.
Oh, even the judge. Even the judge.
Oh
is
my
like,
gosh,
so,
that was
like,
so.
Blah blah blah. This is what you have to do. Remember the blah blah blah.
Right. And then they show the kid, and Henry Fonda, and then someone else looked back at him too. And that was, a curious shot. And then once they're in the juror room, it takes time to like look around the room. The pacing of them waiting, like you're there waiting with them.
Yeah.
Of kind of like, hey, we want to get started. We want to get done with this. Oh, there's someone in the bathroom. Let's wait for them. Blah, 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 blah. And then as time gets on, you can see the cameras start to stay on people longer during those breaks instead of like the chaos of the room. And it helps with the pacing. So like the example of it is when they first get into the room, there's no one focused.
Yeah.
No one's focused. No one, as far as the camera goes, no one's really focusing on anyone too long. Yeah. It really is just a pass of the room. And then once progress has been made about halfway through the film, maybe a little past halfway, they take a break. And juror number 1 talks with juror number 8, Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
And the camera stays on them the whole time. which is not something the camera has necessarily done in these moments.
Right.
Like it's very close to them, like you said before, but even thinking back to when Juror 8 first indicates not guilty and furthers that along by hearing everyone, they take a bathroom break, and the shot of the bathroom is a wide shot of the bathroom, like you had said.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there are distinct conversations happening, there's no personability of those conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time they take a bathroom break, juror number 1 and juror number 8, juror number 1 is really sharing about his life as a coach and all of that. And so there's this really nice progression that goes along, which I think is more interesting because this is the last day.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there a couple days.
Yeah.
But this is the last day, and this is the point that they start having those connections.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably because they haven't. I think I've never been on a jury before, but I think for the most part, you don't talk to each other until you get into that room.
Yeah. The NSA is now listening, and now they know that you have not been a juror.
I served a couple months ago. I did my diligence, and I was excused.
Oh. What'd you say?
Just in case they want to try to get me back in there. I got paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie's great. Like, what were some aspects that? So, did you read anything about like the last shot in the jury room? Did you? Was there anything that talked about it?
Oh, like where they're all leaving?
Well, they're all leaving,
mm-hmm.
and the camera is in the closet.
Uh-huh.
But the clothes bar, the hanger bar, is in the shot. And when Henry Fonda takes the jacket to go give it to juror number 4, the camera goes like through the bar. It's an outstanding shot.
Interesting.
And
yeah,
I have been thinking about it this whole time. It's just one of those things that, in theory, very simple shot.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've been on a set and you see what they're using and how they have to shoot things, it's not easy in the slightest. And so I'm just like, did they have someone there to like lift the bar? What happened? Because the camera gets close to the bar. It almost looks like it goes through it. And I've been thinking about that for...
Yeah, they must have had somebody standing there like, okay, and lift it.
One.
Because those rigs were huge.
Yeah. That was also the other thing that got me was in the beginning when they are doing the court shots, it had to have been a set. Like, it had to have been a built set. Because there's no way they would have gotten what are the big the big balanced poles that they put the camera on?
A jib?
A jib. See, I couldn't remember because it's a dumb name. The jib.
I like the cut of your jib.
Hey. I don't know how I feel about that.
Or as our friend Jason would call it, a jib boom.
That's there you go. Shout out to Jason. So I'm watching it now because I'm so blown away by it. Because it wouldn't be hard to make a box that falls apart because the camera has like the top shelf of the closet in shot. You have the crossbar that holds it. Here's a great thing that they did. Everyone who had a jacket on there took the hanger off.
Mm-hmm.
They lifted it up. But it was done so well that it almost looks like it just goes through it.
Yeah, such a smooth
It really was smooth. It's one of those things you don't think about, but it's a curious shot. It really I think that's the first time that they shoot it from the closet.
Yeah, they did a couple shots from that wall.
Right. But I don't think
in the corner.
Right, but I don't think they did it in the closet. Because this one is in the closet, maybe giving it that, finality. But okay, never mind. They didn't actually take the hangers. They just grabbed the jacket in a way that pulled the hangers off, and then they let the hangers drop.
Really?
Yeah. That's so funny.
That's awesome.
That sometimes the things that people have to do to like get a shot, but it's done in a way that what was I think oh god. What's the CGI company that has the YouTube Corridor?
Or corridor.
I got a curdle.
Are you dying?
Yeah. Oh. Vamp, man, vamp. All right.
He's still dying.
They talked about something. Oh, it's still there. They talked about a shot, and it was the idea of like controlling the eyesight, knowing what people are going to look at, and then taking advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
And this was that moment of you'd think that people were looking at the people grabbing their jackets because they're right in front of you.
Right.
But in reality, everyone's eyesight is on Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
Or juror number 4.
3.
3.
Yeah. You see him with
Cobb.
his head on the table, and you see Henry Fonda like walking around the table and walking over to him. But like your eyes were locked on really Cobb. 3.
Yeah. Really good. Really good. Really good that they already kind of had that in mind by then. Mm-hmm. Which I know it's so dumb to say back then or whatever it was, because film had been around a while, but
it was still very young.
It was still very young, and for them to have done it in the way that they did, in the time that they did, it was great. It was super good.
Yeah, I honestly, in some ways, early film is much more impressive and creative than modern film. And like, there's a lot of technology in modern film, but if you go back and watch the like the Journey to the Moon or whatever that one's called, that's like the early one where the rocket gets like shot into the moon and the moon has the face. And
yeah. I thought you were talking about the moon landing. I was like, no, the moon landing was real, dude. You need to calm down.
No, like early film. They had to do some crazy things that you watch it and you're like, how did they even accomplish this?
Right.
When the technology wasn't there. And so like the types of techniques and stuff that they would do to make that stuff work is like, oh, that's in some ways very simple, but also the fact that they were thinking about how can we make this work where it moves through the closet.
Right.
Like it, I don't know. I'm really impressed with it.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think what they did was awesome. Sidney Lumet. Uh, good job. Good job, man. It was great. I know that there's cinematographers to congratulate within that too, but he nailed. And honestly, the acting in this, for the most part, great, really good. I had trouble with juror number 3 because it took me a while to understand. It took me a while to accept that people like that do exist. I don't know. I try to live my life where I'm not in a perpetual state of anger. But there are people who live like that. And there are people who certainly used to live like that. And that was just him.
Yeah.
Not the actor per se, but that character.
Yeah. It was really interesting to be like, whoa, this was a different time. With the way that they were talking about, like, oh, I mean, he was the one who said that his son ran away from a fight. And so he was like, I will teach you how to fight, even if it means I have to break you in two. Like, that was the mindset. And that was okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, because everybody, what I found really interesting was the two people, like him, who was like super, like, they deserve it, we'll beat it out of them kind of thing. And then the other old guy who was Juror 10, who was
just
like
a racist son of a bitch.
Super racist. Like, yeah. Like, they got put in their place.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really like, they were presented as people with, and when they first say their things, like, nobody was kind of willing to respond back to that.
Right.
Everybody was uncomfortable, but they were just kind of like pushing it off. But I think the two most powerful scenes is when Juror 3 blows up and starts like yelling at Juror 8. And then everybody is standing on one side of the room.
Yeah.
Except for him. And so, like, there's that shot where he turns his back away and everybody's just standing like, you are on your own.
Right.
And then the other shot of Juror 10 going off.
Him having his tirade.
And being just a horrible dirtbag of a person. And everybody stands up and turns their back to him.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to make his case, and another person stands up and turns their back to them. And it's this wide shot of even the guy, even Juror number 3, who is a horrible dude, turns his back to him.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting. Those shots were like, oh.
Yeah. This movie has a lot of catharticness to it, where you have characters who were clearly showing really negative aspects of themselves, and at least in this jury box, a cinema world that did not accept those things. The message being, these things are not okay.
Yeah.
A wildly progressive movie.
Yeah.
Wildly progressive.
Yeah.
First and foremost, just a condemnation of the court system as a whole. One, all the jurors are just ready to go home, killing the kid. Fine, killing the kid. The judge couldn't give a crap.
Yep.
The boy is 15.
18.
18. Is he 18?
He's 18.
I thought he was 15.
No, I think that when they were explaining like different stages of his life, I think they said something happened to him when he was 15,
Okay.
but he was 18
Okay.
during the trial.
Um, but a young man nonetheless, a young man of bad repute, and from the slums, maybe a person of color. I feel like they're trying to infer that a little bit, but I don't particularly recall making it's black and white. I don't know, man.
He could have been a person of European descent.
Yeah. It would
So-
it wouldn't have been the craziest. Oh. Let's see. I have him right here. I can't really tell. Like I couldn't tell you, but I think they're trying to infer some type of quote unquote ethnic aspect to him.
Yeah.
I do think they're trying to infer that a bit. But get that kid getting apparently an awful lawyer. So this is taking a whack at
I guess state appointed a lawyer.
Yeah. And then just like all the different things that they kind of so let's try to break down some of the things that were approached in this movie. So juror number 1, I don't know. I think he was supposed to be the foreman, and he was just there to be the foreman. I don't know if he really had something that he was representing, unless I'm misgauging that.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really was him was he was a younger guy
having to deal with having to wrangle these men. Juror number 2, I do think he's a representation of the opposite side of like society's view of masculinity. He was very soft spoken, had a high pitched voice, not a particularly large person, petite for lack of better term, and kind of was like going. I really liked his character because he was very go with whatever was happening. Even though you could tell from what he was saying that like he did have his own opinion on everything, but he didn't want to go against how everyone else was, responding. But as it was going along, he really started to find his own voice, eventually standing up for himself, and kind of, I think, understanding within himself, like he doesn't have to look, sound, or be like any of these other men to still belong and still be a valid addition to this situation and to society as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else for that particular
He also, I know we said that juror number 1 was the young fight. Like, number 2 was definitely, like, they referred to him and the way he presented himself. This is my first time as a juror.
Oh, right.
He's the youngest of all of them, I think. So there's a lot of elements of him just being like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right. And him kind of finding that, like, no, I am supposed to be here. Like, I have a say in this.
Yeah.
Which is great. He also represented a tight-knit organization fully dedicated to stealing honey. I really wanted to see how long it would take you to be like, where is this going? Let's see. Lee J. Cobb, juror number 3, the angry guy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel like he represents a lot.
Yeah. His representation was like the way men should be, at least how he perceived masculinity, and how he was raised. I mean, they said like, this is how my father raised me. This is how I raised my kid, kind of thing.
Was he the one that said, when I was a kid, you called dad sir? Imagine these. Was he the one who said that? I think he is, because I think one of his big issues, like to remind the folks at home and to remind ourselves, the case was this young man was accused of killing his father.
Mm-hmm.
His father, who was a wildly abusive man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, not I think, it was basically confirmed. This juror number 3 was projecting his relationship to his son onto this boy,
mm-hmm.
onto this young man. And, you know, he was it's always this interesting thing. I've always noticed it with, I say this as a person who did not have the nicest childhood. But there is something to abuse or whatever it is that may happen, where people who have proven to be poor participants in whatever relationship it is, whether it's parenthood, spousal, whatever it is, they always have a point of being able to go and say, well, when I was a kid, this happened. Or I don't know how you translate that into, when I was in my other marriage, this happened. Like, I don't know how you translate that, because that is one of those things where I'm like, you should divorce him. That's terrible. No one should say that to you. But there's a thing where, like, parents who are abusive oftentimes look back at their childhood and say, when I was a kid. But, you know, if you pull just the smallest of threads, you immediately go, yeah, but you were abused.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. You know that's not good. Why are you trying to instill that abuse onto others?
Yeah.
The buck should stop with you, because you are aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't continue, like, you don't like that aspect of yourself. You don't like that part of you. Why are you trying to instill that in someone else rather than say, oh, I was abused, and the things that happened to me, I don't like. And I don't like me when I start leaning into those things that my parents used to do. So I shouldn't do these. We don't have that. This man, we don't know fully, other than like that fight aspect. Like, it could be, you know, they're both angry guys, and that's why the kid socked him. But clearly there's some issues there that stem from his own abuse and his own, not displeasure, but his own trauma with his own childhood.
Yeah.
But he's projecting it onto this kid, this, you know, the alleged murderer. And I guess you could say even onto his own son. So he really is kind of, he encompasses a lot, not just the idea of like a man, you know, what a man should be. He feels that of himself, because every time he talks, he has this like self-righteous, of course I'm right kind of tone to him. But oddly enough, that idea of like, what a father should be, even though he himself understands his relationship with his son is strained at best.
Yeah.
Like, I think he understands he's not a good dad, but he's trying to promote it as though he is.
Mm-hmm.
So he's representative of that. I think he's just representative of someone who's gone through a lot of trauma, who's creating new generational trauma and doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, he has the perspective of, well, a kid like that just needs to be put in their place to know how to act. And then because that's what I did with my kid.
Right.
Kind of thing. And so,
is this a metaphor for post-World War II America?
I'm sure there's elements to that as well.
Because I think there's a lot of that, I was raised by someone who was born in 1920, who fought in World War II. And sometimes there would be that narrative of, when I was a kid, we had to do this, this, and this. And, you need this to, grow or experience whatever. And I think whether it's the neurodivergent or whatever I was at that time, I was self-aware enough to be like, no, I don't. I don't need that. I don't think that's going to do the same thing you think it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on juror number 3?
No, I agree with you. I think he is basically he represents, him and his relationship with his son represent the father that was murdered and the defendant. Like, that is really what's going on there is.
There's just massive projection.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. E.G. Marshall, juror number 4.
He was the man of logic.
Which was interesting to me. Because I think it's, I might be reading too much into this, and maybe I'm reading my own contemporary experiences onto this thing from back then, because what I'm thinking they didn't have. Mm-hmm. They didn't have social media. They didn't have just the internet with just the massive spread of information or disinformation. But there's a little bit of not just logic. It wasn't just logic, but it was he himself established who authority was.
Yeah.
And those were the facts.
Yeah.
Those were the facts at that point.
Yeah.
Because if he was truly this straightforward logic, just the facts, just whatever it was, he would have come to a lot of the same conclusions that Henry Fonda's character did.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
You're right. He came to the people on the stand are under oath to tell the truth. So therefore what they're saying is the truth. And what they said is this, this, and this. And so this must be fact because they're under oath, is essentially what his character was. His
character to me was really interesting because I think it's a very pertinent and still very relevant character.
Mm.
Because if you put that character into like today's time, it would be virtually the same, but the tonality would be, I read this on this site, or I read this, or I saw this on this news thing, where those aren't necessarily, like, that idea of hearing the yell and seeing the murder through the train, but ignoring the fact that a train is horribly loud, especially in the 50s, like right. Especially when trains were still big trains going through the city. Like, we still have that now, but technology has gotten to a point where it doesn't. I always think of. You've seen Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah.
I said right, really.
White?
You've seen the Blues Brothers, right? But the scene where he goes back to, when they go back to the apartment and then the train is going by and like everything is shaking, and I'd assume if you lived anywhere near a train, you would know that, especially back then. Or if you've seen a train, like, I can't imagine how loud they were back then. Because even in the 90s, technology had gotten to a point where trains weren't ear bleeding loud.
Mm-hmm.
But that was normal. That was the norm. That was the standard for trains.
Yeah. But speaking of the train, coming from a Californian, I just learned that L train stands for elevated train.
Yeah.
Did not know that until watching this movie, and I was like, wait a second.
Line train? Lizard train. It's a lizard train.
I never knew what the L train was.
What's the L train? Elevated train. Dang it. I was really hoping for lollipops. Yeah, so he's just such an interesting character because I thought his turn was so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when the facts were pretty respectably proven, at least doubtful,
mm-hmm.
It wasn't until creepy old man talked about his nose, which I was also that part.
That was the weirdest way to go about being
that
like,
part was really.
She didn't have glasses.
Yeah, that was really funny, simply because I know it was the 50s. People had glasses. That wasn't weird. It wasn't weird to have glasses, but they made
curious.
They made it seem like he was a freaking alien for having.
Yeah, I'm really curious what that guy's performance, because Joseph Sweeney was in the original teleplay that this was.
Who did he play?
He played the same character.
He played the old. Oh yeah, because it was only 3 years ahead.
So I'm very curious if he played it exactly the same way.
I wonder if that's around anywhere.
It's interesting,
or if it's lost to time.
But yeah, that was one thing that did feel a little bit strange of his way of being like, but you have those weird dents in your nose,
right?
But yeah, the revelation of, hey, the person that you took as telling the truth, as where the facts were coming from, could have been telling an untruth. And that realization for that guy was like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, he hadn't even considered that somebody could be telling
a lie,
a lie, or a something sort of the truth.
Well, and I do
she may have seen a blur.
Yeah, I do like how Henry Fonda did frame it, or Juror number 8. I do like how he framed it in that maybe they did see and hear what they did.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the exact information that they're displaying is not what they saw and heard.
Mm-hmm.
All of the things are like, it's possible that he did hear a thump and he saw someone running. But maybe he heard a thump, and once he got to the door 40 seconds later, he saw someone running and he just assumed it was the boy, like they said. And she could have seen the murder, but she couldn't have made out the faces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the knife is still kind of, I don't know how I feel about that, particularly the stab wound, because like, Yeah, but the kid was good at knives, so he wouldn't have done that. He would have. It's like, so this just made me go, who killed him?
Right?
Who
That's the one unsatisfying thing about this movie is
who
did it?
Who done it?
Juror number 5.
Jack Klugman.
He was the guy with the experience of coming from.
He was the kid.
Slums.
He was the
Yeah,
kid. He was the one person in the group that was actually the representation of the constitutional right of a jury of your peers.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like a
peer.
legitimate peer. And he did that swimmingly.
Mm-hmm.
He did that so well. He was meek, and he was hiding it for so long, and then once it, once the racist guy started mouthing off, that was enough for him to be like, I know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying? And then the conversation of the knife, which was really helpful information for that group. But yeah, I think he was just a clear avatar for someone in the same, or could have been in the same position as this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Binns, he played juror number 6. I think he's just the normal guy.
Yeah, he didn't really have anything in particular. Like, the thing that swayed him was the evidence of the train and him being like, oh yeah, the train is loud.
Yeah. Hey guys, I don't know if you know this, but the trains
are loud. But he's also the one who was like, isn't he the one who said don't talk to
so when I say normal, I mean he is establishing what normality should be.
Yeah.
He's establishing what is okay in this societal context. Which
he's like, let's be respectful to each other.
Let's be respectful to each other. You don't make fun of or talk poorly of the older respect your elders, which to a point I agree with. We should be nice to older people. If they start going crazy on you,
mm-hmm.
that was their choice. Your response is your choice. I don't care. But I also think that that's just the generalization of like, we should just be kind to everyone. We shouldn't be, or be respectful to everyone. I don't know if kind is the exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also, there was also a little bit of that, like, I don't know if it's toxic masculinity or not, but it did feel as though, his jump to, technically his step to violence. I don't know if that's great. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm a very peaceful guy. I don't, pacifist, whatever. I don't know if violence was the best step, but also in that situation, I don't know, with a character like juror number 3, who seemed as though violence was his first step, maybe sometimes you do need that person to respond in that way, especially because he was bigger,
mm-hmm.
younger, a little more intimidating. Like he was oddly like a gentle giant in the grand
mm-hmm.
scope of it. But yeah, I don't know how much he represented outside of when someone was doing something that was clearly unacceptable, and maybe sometimes shockingly unacceptable at that time. So how much they let some of the bigotry kind of go. He was kind of the first to be like, come on.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Jack Warden, juror number 7, pork pie.
He was the guy who didn't care, who would rather be somewhere else.
Yeah. Indifference, just inability to connect. It wasn't until, Well, and I don't know if it was just didn't care, but also like fought to not care.
Mhm.
That was his shield.
Yeah.
Because even when he was talking to like juror number 2, he kept calling him killer.
Mm.
Like he's trying to use his humor, his disconnection to the situation as his shield of whatever it is. But who confronted him? They did it in a way that he really was like, whoa, oh, do I feel this way?
It was 11, the
11?
mustache man,
Yeah, that's right.
who was
Oh,
like, make a
because
decision.
he voted guilty and then he changed it. And I loved that was actually one of the scenes I loved
That was a good scene
because
too.
juror number 11 comes around to him and says, "Why did you vote that? If you're going to vote that, have a conscience about it. Like vote because you mean it. Don't just vote because you're trying to get out of this."
Yeah.
Really confronted him, really just like made him question everything.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was great.
Moment.
Juror 8 is the guy who is willing to look at the other side and have the conversation when nobody else was willing to have that conversation.
Yeah. I wonder if there's, I'm sure there is something deeper, but I'm just so curious about it of the way it was written, why he like did it the way he did it. Because he was very coy at the start of it.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know. Because he clearly knew why he disagreed. But I just didn't understand.
It kind of felt like he was trying to make I can't be as confident as you guys are. And so he was trying to make the argument for reasonable doubt.
Right.
And so I think that's why he was being coy with it at the beginning, is because he's like, all of you are so confident. And I don't feel that confident.
Gotcha. So maybe he just had his doubts about certain things, but maybe he really didn't have all of his arguments in place yet. Which were fine, good arguments. New York apartments. Wild. 40 some odd foot hallway to the door.
Right?
Do you think that's a sound thing?
Because it basically puts a separation between your living space and the hall.
Right. But
so,
it's just interesting that the doors were on opposite sides too. That's the part that's crazy to me. The sound thing makes sense. The doors doesn't make sense. But I didn't build houses or apartments in the 1910s or 20s. Anyway, yeah, he is the avatar for, and it was also too, because I think the things that we question or the things we disliked about the court system that was being established in that, and whether it was a reflection of what was actually going on. It seemed like Reginald Rose wrote a lot of court related things. So I think he had something to say about the court system.
Yeah.
But Henry Fonda's character, juror number 8, it wasn't just so much that he looked at the other side. I think he was a very humble, quiet version of the system is broken and I have to butt against it. Because the only reason I say that is the knife. Because he technically commits a crime to prove his point. So but he's also like, what are you going to do? Essentially like, right. I don't respect this, in this circumstance, this law. So like, it doesn't hold the weight. And maybe some of these other aspects of our judicial system and everything, they're in the same route. Like, I think he was really put off by how that whole thing went.
Mm-hmm.
And this was kind of his way of butting against it.
Yeah, because he makes several points about being like put off by the case that was
defense
made.
lawyer. The defense lawyer. He did not like the defense lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Because we mentioned the screenwriter, I went
Reginald.
The 97 version with Jack Lemmon was a TV movie. It was not a.
It had Tony Danza in it, so of course it was TV.
It had Tony Danza.
Yeah, he played juror number 8. No, 7. He played the guy who didn't care.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what you gonna do?
Oh.
What you about to do?
Hey.
Hey.
Anyway, I don't know what's happening right now.
I'm vamping a little bit because I'm trying to get his first name. But
Edward James Olmos was also in this?
He was? Who did he play?
He was number 11. Anyway, we're talking about the wrong thing.
Which was in this one, he was the European guy. Interesting. No, James Gandolfini. I would have loved to watch that version just to be like, hey, what are you gonna do? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if that's the voice he used in that, but that's all I know from him. He just has that just high voice that is just very like, hey, what you gonna do? Now, all right, Joseph Sweeney, jury number 9. He represents the witness, the old man witness, the character that people don't listen to, who he's hoping for attention, and he's also, what else you got?
Yeah, he seemed a little bit swayed by at first by peer pressure, because if you notice, he's the last one to raise his hand when they do the initial vote. The preliminary vote, everybody's raising their hand, and then he at the very last minute just kind of like slowly raises his hand.
Yeah.
He definitely felt like people wouldn't listen to me otherwise, so I guess I'll just vote with the group.
Yeah.
And then he was the first one to turn, I think.
Yeah, because it was, oh God.
Oh yeah, because they did the blind vote.
You know what? I'm not violent. Sometimes I want to punch that juror, number 3, because they did the blind vote, and then he was accusing 5 of changing his vote.
Mm-hmm.
And then juror number 9 comes out with, it wasn't him, it was me.
Very smugly. It was me.
He was also a representation. I think he was paid advertisement for Adderall. Because he is hopped up on something, man. I don't know why they did that. Every time they did a close-up, his eyes were so wide.
I think the 2 biggest things that I did that pulled me out of this movie
was him.
Was one, whenever the music hit in the in the middle of the movie, and 2, his close-up shots. He just looked nuts.
I don't want to make the joke too much, but like genuinely, like he looked like he was on stimulants, like some type of amphetamine. He just and I think before the record, we were talking a little bit about, sometimes he was 70 at the time, so that means that he was acting possibly in the early 20th century and maybe into the late 19th century. And so he does have probably a larger experience with the stage, which in stage acting, that is something you would absolutely do. I noticed it in, last year, Wicked Part 1 came out, and So there was a big hype, not only on Wicked, the movie, but going back to the 2003 musical. I was watching lots. I was crying a lot. It's beautiful. But they performed Defying Gravity at the Tonys that year, whatever it was, 2003, 2004. And in the stage rendition of it, they have this apparatus that is covered by cloth to look like her cape is growing, and it lifts her up so she looks like she's flying.
Mm-hmm.
But at the Tonys, there were cameras, and she was still playing it for the stage.
Mm.
So she was opening her eyes so wide, and I had that moment of, oh, Adina, it's not the stage. I know there's an audience, but you got to play to the camera. You can't play to the audience. You got to play to the camera. But they were just giant, and so I had that moment of like, is he playing to the audience or is he playing to the camera?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is he's already done this. He was in the TV version 3 years prior.
Yeah.
And if not a single soul, saw him do that exact same thing in the prior one and went, don't do that.
Hey, Joseph, you can't do that.
You can't, Joe, I'm telling you, buddy, you can't do that. It's not going to age well. Let's just say that. It's not going to age well. I don't understand it. That was the one giant miss for me. The music, actually, for me, some of it was of its time. Yeah. That made perfect sense then. So I'm not going to critique it too much. This, I feel like, is an easy critique because everyone else did no one else did any shit like that. Like
nobody else looked down the barrel with like the widest eyes.
No one. I was waiting for him to be like, come over to this table now. I'll take you. I'll fight you right now. Like, his eyes were so wide. Anyway, he's a representation of just the elderly, which is crazy because that is running on almost 70 years ago. All right? Almost 70 years ago. Almost a century ago. And I would argue we have the same societal problem now. Actually, all of these societal problems we have now. I think we can find a direct correlation to today, but it's so crazy that
I feel like it's easier to find the direct correlation today than it was 10 years ago, honestly, with the way things have gone.
Well, I think that's true of a lot of these things, but this one in particular, I think, is traceable kind of throughout. It is elderly people in the twilight of their life finding themselves in a position where the things that they built, lives, spouses, children, are not in the same context as they were prior.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them fall into this position of just like a desperation for attention to the point where they would lie under oath, and him kind of seeing that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's the part where he talks about like, this is what the old man would have done. He would have done this, and it's his first time for attention. So he blah, 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 blah. And the guy, I think it was,
how would you know what he was thinking?
And looks at him and he's like, oh yeah, because you just described yourself. Got it.
You mother. Yeah. My autism is killing me right now. I have my light here because I noticed that I was coming in way too dark in all of the shots. But I have my light right here. And apparently I did not take the factory film off of the button area.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing it. I keep wanting, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to pull that off, but I have to let it go. All right. Yeah. What's also interesting is his perspective seems to align with Henry Fonda's.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that is such an odd. I think because now there is this overwhelming place where older people, and I don't want to generalize, but it does feel like older people lean a certain way. Statistically speaking, older people lean a certain direction politically. That is statistically true.
Mm-hmm.
If he was here today, he would be the opposite of the norm.
Yeah.
So that's just an interesting perspective for me, that they kind of put him in that area of, like, not only does he have this kind of aging, this dilemma of age, but he also sees the world from his age.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, I've seen the good and the bad and everything, and not everything is the way. It's not black and white the way we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it was interesting. Juror number 10, Ed Begley. He's the scum of the earth. He is just a putrid human.
That guy doesn't like Italians.
Yeah. He finds issue with the ethnic.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan of old Blue Eyes. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything. Well, I guess you could there philosophically, you could say he is a metaphor or the avatar for the way that times are changing.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you are stuck in those, you are literally going to be sitting in the corner by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep to those.
Mm-hmm.
That was such an interesting end for him.
Oh, the guy saying, I heard what you had to say. Now stop talking, or don't speak again, or whatever. Was like, oh.
Who said that? Who did he say that?
Juror
was that
number
one?
4 says
4
that to him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The logic guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was such an interesting move. But anyway, I think that's where he stays. Voskovec, he's an immigrant, plain and simple, looking for the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
I think he represents the idea of what people are hoping for when they come to America. Mm-hmm. And the thing that he's fighting throughout is what America actually is.
Yeah.
And he's like, essentially, you guys are not fulfilling what your ideals are. Mm-hmm. That's why I came to this country. That's why I like democracy. That's why I like this thing. The only place where this kind of thing happens. This doesn't happen all around, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Be a representative of your ideals, because right now, if this is what America is, this sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of his whole thing.
Yeah. I think he's my favorate character. Because
agreed.
He puts so many people in their place in the most respectful way.
Yeah. That was the best part of it. It was that. Yeah, I can't think of a moment where what he said was like that crossed the line. Everything he said was, nope, that was on point.
Yeah, like
one for you.
The racist guy says something about like they can't even speak good English or whatever it is.
Right.
And the guy who's not American is like, he does not speak English well. And
No,
like corrects
he
him.
still said good. I
Yeah.
was like, when he said that, I was like, I still don't think that's right.
Yeah, but whatever
But
it was,
he
like
corrected him.
He corrected him, and then he, when he's saying something, giving his big monologue moment, and he said, and they're like, well, they say something to him. He's like, well, much like you, it's because of the way that I was raised.
Oh,
And,
that
but,
was
like, talking
that
to him
one
about-
was so good.
yeah.
Yeah, that was juror number 10 was like, why are you saying that to me? Or like, why are you saying that? And he's like, much like what you say. That's how I was raised. Great.
And then calling out juror number 7 and being like, make your decision.
Yeah. That was great. Juror number 12, I'm curious what you think, because I honestly am kind of having trouble. I think I have an idea, but I don't know. As I'm thinking about it, it sounds weird in my head, so I don't know.
The biggest takeaway that I have from him is the peer pressure. He's swayed, right? Because at one point, because he votes guilty at the beginning, and then he's like, not guilty. And then somebody says something, and he's like, oh, guilty. And then somebody says something else, and not guilty. So it's not necessarily peer pressure, but it's just he's easily swayed. Doesn't really have the opinions of himself whenever he's talking about his life. He's kind of talking about other people and what other people do. And so he talks about like, oh, there's a salesman, like when we have our meetings that are like this, one of the guys always stands up and says, blah, 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 blah. And then he does that himself later. And so I think he's someone who's easily swayed by other people.
Yeah, yeah. My bigger picture representation for him is modernity. And I say that because he's one of the younger ones. But I don't think he's the youngest, even though they don't really establish that. They don't establish age or anything. But he is really nicely dressed. He has the new modern thick black glasses. He talks about his job, which I think was like advertising or something like that, which at that point in the 50s, I feel was rather hip, modern.
That was
job.
The Mad Men.
Yeah. So I think the idea of modernity and the idea that modernity, while having a place, lacks substance. Or maybe it's that corporate America, maybe it's the company kind of aspect, because he really does talk about his job more than he talks about himself. He doesn't really talk about himself. He talks about the work he does, the people he works with, as his work is his identity, which could have been commentary of, modern people of that time. What's the yuppies? Like it could be commentary on the 50s modern New York yuppie. And that he did lack substance. And when it took him time to establish what he believed. And that I think what his ultimate end is, if we strip away some of those things that are kind of taking our attention in modernity, we then can find what we believe in and stand up for those things. I feel like that's kind of where his outcome is. That feels a little too heady for maybe a character that really didn't have too many. Really, he didn't have too many interactions, too many lines, but it just was like everything he talked about had no substance whatsoever.
People were just ignoring him.
Right. And it wasn't until later that he's seeing what juror number 8 is doing, and the minds, the opinions getting changed and the evidence being deconstructed, that he starts to find his own opinion. And then the reason I say that is because at that point, he makes his own joke. He doesn't take a joke from someone else, but he says, let's put something together and see if the cat, put it on the stoop and see if the cat will lick it, whatever the hell the line was.
Yeah.
And then juror number 1 laughs at it because he's like, I've never heard that. That's wild. So like there's this sign of it's new, it's fresh, but it was something that had a little more substance. And I say substance because it made sense. It was a cohesive joke. It was just different.
And while he was still doing the thing that he talked about the other guy doing, is he was like in it enough that he, like, while he was doing that thing, I think it represented in a way him being confident in himself to be able to say that kind of thing. Like he didn't just repeat what he overheard the other guy say.
Right. Which made me think that like, as he was telling these stories, and it seems as though he's kind of the assistant in the office who's writing these things down. He's not the guy doing that. And that was that moment that made him go, oh, I can, if I focus on my own thing, I can do this kind of feel. Yeah.
No, I think that's a good take. I think you're right. There is maybe reading into it a little bit more, but I think that's a really good take on that character who, compared to some of them, was very minimal.
Right.
But I think that is kind of the point of his.
But because I know we're reading into all of these things, but
that's kind of the point. Like they all were supposed to represent something.
Senor Rose clearly was intentional about how he wrote these characters and what they were doing. They do represent something. They do have a message to tell. They do have a deeper picture. We might not be getting it right, but there is something there. And I just can't fathom that he goes through 11 jurors to represent something and then gets to the 12th one and goes, meh.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, well, that would be bad writing, and that isn't conducive to what he has accomplished. With that said, lots of things represented, just great character development. I think one of the parts I love about this movie is typically we have films that go through a large amount of time and are spanning years, days, months, whatever it might be. That's not the right order. Days, months, years. And we're given a lot of events, typically substance that allows for character development. This is essentially 3 or 4 hours in a room detailing a court case that just essentially ended. And somehow within that time, we get such stellar character development for each character, even the ones that have minor roles in the grand scope of it. Well done movie. Just the writing's great. Acting is excellent. The fact that they learned their lines that well, that's great. A couple things I hated, I think we've talked about him a bit. Is there anything you have left, or you want to talk about a quote or anything else? I have pontificated to to such an extent that I don't know if I have anything else.
Yeah, no, I think we covered it, and we sprinkled in our thoughts while we were talking about each one. But I think it's good to talk about each character, because that's a big part of what this movie is about, is the representation of each of those characters and how they all have to come to the conclusion in a different way. Some of them are presented by, here are the facts. Some of them are presented by, here's the experience that they have.
Right.
Partnered with those testimonies and whatever. So it was a really interesting thing that I think if we didn't talk about each juror individually, we would have missed.
I think Henry Fonda's character is low key kind of a joke too, because I just realized that he says what his job is. He says he's an architect. Mm-hmm. And he's the only one who sees this from a different angle. And I'm like, that's such an architect thing to do. Anyway.
And
now it's time for the Review Rewind, where we take a look at a positive review and a negative review, and we see where we fall. Pleasantly, I don't know how to make this sentence work. I'm glad to say, there you go, that this movie is very well received. Metacritic, 97%. Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. Rotten Tomatoes audience score, 97%. IMDb audience, 9.0. So, overall, good. Now, this is a new experience for us. These are reviews from the 50s. Movie critics in the 50s were a lot different.
I'm surprised you found them.
I was surprised they still had them posted, even if it's just a blip. But some of them are... Maybe this podcast never would have happened if this was what it was all the time. But critics got real creative in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, hi, this is us. But why don't you go ahead and read the extra positive, because they're both positive. So what's the extra positive?
Yeah. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch gave it a 112 Angry Men critic review. Former TV director Sidney Lumet, solid success is achieved without even once resorting to flashbacks or other standard procedures of the film trade. The secret rests in the spirited dialogue, realistic setting, and, of course, the excellent cast of outstanding character actors that make up the jury.
Interesting. We try to defend the past so much by saying it's the past, but it's so interesting to say that there's flashbacks or other standard procedures of film trade. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting that was already established.
That was already a thing. And I do appreciate that today and in the 50s, people were like, they didn't rely on flashbacks. Hooray.
Hooray. 80% from the Chicago Reader. Mechanically written, but within its own middle-brow limitations, it delivers the goods.
It delivers the goods.
It delivers the goods. I don't know if I would say mechanically written or even the quote unquote middle brow limitations. I think they made it the way they wanted to make it. I don't know if the limit, because they did some scenes that were creative. I think they wrote it in the limiting fashion to create that space of tension and to really absorb you into the film. Like, maybe it was just me. I started getting warm watching the movie because they were all,
you see the sweat forming out, like their shirts are just
damp.
So grossly soaked. And the one guy, number 4, who's like, I don't sweat. And then he got drilled on something and you see the sweat.
The one drip.
The one drip running down his forehead.
Solid. That's solid. That's good. That's good. It is written much, I don't even know if I want to say play, but much like a book. Because that scene right when he gets called out and then the one drop of sweat feels like it would be written.
Yeah.
You know, written out in that way.
I would say that this person's review, I think the limitations are the fact that it is a single room.
Right.
But I think what they did within that was really, it was more than just middlebrow. Like it wasn't anything amazing, but it was like they were telling a story. It wasn't just a single camera cutting to a stationary camera.
Maybe we use the word a little differently nowadays. So I just want to check it.
Demanding or involving only a moderate degree of intellectual application.
Yeah, I don't think this is middlebrow. I think it's done in a way that is very it reaches a wide audience, but I don't necessarily think that that's like a bad thing or a sign of lacking in intelligence or dumbing down, I guess we could say.
Yeah. Middlebrow refers to unambitious content.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy. I thought this was really ambitious. I think the cinematography is wildly ambitious to tell a story, to lock people in for an hour and a half plus in one room using essentially 12 people only. The bailiff or whoever, the court assistant, poking his head in ever so often, but otherwise that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't call it that. That feels a little rude. You got a colonel?
I got a colonel. If our only options were highbrow, middlebrow, and lowbrow, I guess it's more middlebrow than highbrow. But we're using terms that we've never used before.
I don't judge people's eyebrows, so I just don't know how to feel about all of this. All right.
But I do think that there is ambition to it. It may not be highbrow, but I feel like saying that it's unambitious is.
I think they missed the point.
And not giving it enough credit.
Yeah, I think they missed the point. All right. What do you give it? A, absolutely. This is great. It could be an A+ if it wasn't for the creepy Adderall-filled old guy. A, 100%. I think it's an A. It's like a 97, 90, 96, 97. It is so good. It is worth watching. It's worth exploring, and it's worth paying attention to more so than just what is happening per se on screen, but to examine what the characters are, what they're saying in relationship to everything that's going on, but in relationship to the whole picture of the judicial system, America, whatever it might be. It tells a great story. I think it has a great message, and maybe it doesn't do everything perfectly, even in scope of philosophy. I do think that the intentions are great, and maybe we could be wrong. Maybe Reginald's a piece of crap. I don't know, but he did a good job at least pretending. So there you go. We think it's great. Go watch it. You can watch it for free on Tubi, Tubi. They do not sponsor us. They should, but they don't.
Yeah. Or you can rent it on different places. Or you can get a 7-day free trial with MGM Plus.
Oh, did they have it?
Yeah.
Also, you can find on Tubi the 1997 Jack Lemmon version of 12 Angry Men on Tubi as well.
I think it still has high ratings, but I don't think it's as highly rated as this one. So
I think Henry Fonda is like the right age for it. Jack Lemmon feels a little old.
How old was Jack Lemmon?
He was at least in his 60s by then, maybe even his 70s.
Jack Lemmon was born. Nope, that's not a year. 1925.
1925. So he was 62.
Yeah, so a little bit older.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years older than Henry Fonda, but Henry Fonda even felt a little younger. I don't know. I'm judging.
Judge Reinhold.
Judge
Reinhold.
Judge Judy. She's a piece of crap too. Screw it. Anyway, thanks for listening. Highly recommend this movie. Tristan, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for diving in with me and not letting me drown. You know?
Hey, I'm a lifeguard and I'm here to help.
Anyway, listeners, remember to review those rewinds, and we'll see you next time.